Man, the desert is so boring and barren. I mean, sure you can find yourself a bunch of cactus and sand, but there's also temples, wells, and villages. But what else is there to find inside of a desert? Really nothing else. Well, today I'm going to animate an add-on, and it is called DesertPLUS. Now for DesertPLUS, this introduces a bunch of brand new blocks, some brand new mobs, a bunch of brand new structures, and there's even a few extra goodies as well. So let's just go and get right into this. So as you can see, I actually went ahead and made a guide right here, and I do want to thank Dacon for actually having a guide to actually create these, because without his help, I actually wouldn't know how to use these, but it's actually fairly cool. But if I go ahead and click on changelog, this is going to go ahead and show you everything that's inside the add-on. So there is a lot of things as you can see right here. If I click on landscape, this is going to teach you about the landscape, the structures, mobs, items, and blocks, along with the crafting recipes and things like that. But I'm going to go and talk about everything as we go throughout today's video. There is some brand new dungeons that you can find. So I'm going to go and show you the first one, which is located right here. And I do want to point out most of the dungeons, like 4 of them, are going to be found underneath the ground. So this right here is going to be the first one that you can find. And this is just going to be a simple small dungeon. It's actually going to be a spawner. So you can also get yourself randomized loot. This is going to be the next dungeon, but this one's going to be the biggest one that you can go and find. And so you can also get yourself randomized loot as well. Plus there is going to be another spawner. But for our next dungeon, it's going to be right next door to it. And it's going to be basically the same size as the first one, but it's just going to be a different layout. And this one's actually fairly cool as well. So you can go and get yourself some skulls. You can also get yourself some free loot. And this one is going to be a skeleton spawner. And now I'm sure you're wondering about this dungeon right here. Now this is actually going to be a chamber for a boss. So this is going to be the home of the undead Pharaoh. And whenever you find yourself the undead Pharaoh, he has 3 stages. He has 600 HP. But each stage is going to be made up of 200 HP. So stage 1, he can summon mummies and golden scarabs. He also gives blindness, and he has 3 attack points. On stage 2, he can fly, summons mummies and golden scarabs, and 3 attack points yet again. Then on stage 3, he can fly, summon the mobs again, and then he can shoot fireballs now. They're not like gas fireballs. I went ahead and made them to the small fireballs. Now whenever he's dead, he can drop rotten flesh, paper, treasures, which I'm not going to tell you what the treasures are. You have to go and find it out for yourself. And we have ourselves the Pharaoh's art, which is used to make something brand new inside the add-on, which I'm not going to spoil yet. You can go ahead and come over here where there's these iron bars. Also got to go ahead and break this block right here if you want to go and see what's inside the chest. Now our next dungeon is going to be disguised as a well. But if I go ahead and come inside of here, then you're going to be greeted with a brand new type of dungeon. Now this dungeon is actually going to be another Usk dungeon. But you can go ahead and find yourself 4 chests, which it is got some loot in there as well. And now we're going to go ahead and move over to the final one, which is going to be all the way over here. And I'm also going to break that as well because it's kind of annoying me. But if I were to go ahead and go all the way down here, so it's basically going to be the same kind of dungeon as the well one. Now you can find yourself some spires. Now for the spires, there are 2 variants. There is the sideways variant, and then there is the right side up variant. Now there's also going to be loot inside there as well. So if I were to go ahead and come down here and I go and break these, as you can see, you're going to be greeted with a chest, and then you can go and see what's inside that chest. Now for the other one, it's actually located on top. So if I go ahead and break through out here, let's go see if we can find it really quickly. There it is. So you can go ahead and find yourself a double chest. We got ourselves some houses. So these are going to be like destroyed, rundown houses. So there's also going to be some chests buried inside there as well. Now for the rocks, they aren't going to be made up of the same stone type every time. And yes, you can find buttons as well, which is supposed to be little rocks. Now for the Oasis, you actually can get yourself a brand new type of wood type, which is called palm. And if you're wondering, you can go ahead and make yourself the bark variant, and you can make yourself some planks, which the planks, in my opinion, they actually fit very well with acacia wood. So they also work very well with spruce wood. So if you go ahead and look at this, the logs, they look really good as spruce wood. And all the crafting recipes are going to be the same as standard wood. And also in the Oasis, you can also find yourself some rocks. You can find melons and stuff like that. But if you were to go ahead and come over this way, you can find yourself a nice little chest. Which the chest is going to have some random loot inside of there. But anyways, I do want to point out one thing. Whenever the add-on does get initially released, it's not going to have any saplings for the palm trees. Okay, I'm going to be working on the sapling I'm going to be releasing that update later on this week, so just keep an eye out for that one. Sumitsu Bushido, he did help me out with the structures, so a big thanks to him. But let's go ahead and move over this way where we get ourselves the mobs. Now for the camel, you actually can go ahead and tame them, and you can also go ahead and put a chest on them, and you can put a saddle to ride them around. And now if I go ahead and come over this way, I'm going to go ahead and place down a camel. I'm going to go ahead and sit on him, and we're going to go ahead and tame this bad boy. So please, love me. Yay, he loves me right away. So it was meant to be. So here we go. We are riding into the sunset. Now there's also another thing I want to point out. Your friend can also ride the camel with you. But if you go ahead and decide to get off the camel, then the secondary player is going to go ahead and hop in the front seat. I'm going to go ahead and grab the chest. And now as you can see, we can go ahead and put a chest on our camel. And I can go ahead and open up his inventory. I can put some loot inside of there. Now if you have yourself a bunch of the camels, you actually can go ahead and tame them all, put a chest on them, and as you can see, I can go ahead and put them in a caravan just like you would with a llama, which is going to be very good for transportation and even storage for your items. And if you're worried about losing your chest or your saddle, don't worry, you can just go ahead and get it right back after you kill them. And I'm sorry, I did not mean to hit the snake. But we're going to go ahead and move over to the next mob, which is going to be the scarabs. You can actually go ahead and get yourself a brand new food source, which is called raw scarabs. But you can also go ahead and get yourself different colored scales. And if you go ahead and get yourself 4 of these colored scales, you can go ahead and make yourself some blocks, which is going to be right over here. So they do come in all the different colors in the game. In my opinion, the yellow is still fairly ugly. No matter how much I tried, I never could get that yellow to look good. So if I go and eat up the meat really quickly, this is actually going to go ahead and give you nausea for 15 seconds. Because you're literally eating a bug. And bugs, they're disgusting. They're not good. They're nasty. What other word is there for nasty? I really don't know. But luckily for you, if you don't want any nausea, then you can just go ahead and cook up the raw scarab meat and get cooked scarab meat. Now, this guy right here, he's going to be angry at you no matter what. So, the moment he spots you, he's going to go ahead and come and attack you. But if you go ahead and kill him, then you can actually go ahead and drop a brand new item, golden scarab scales. Now, the golden scarab scales, these are going to be very useful. And I want to point out that if you want to find these, they're not going to be spawning naturally inside the game. But wait. They do spawn into the game using the undead Pharaoh. So if you go and find the undead Pharaoh, you're likely to find one of these scarabs right here. Now whenever the cobra attacks you, he is going to go ahead and poison you. But he can also go ahead and drop raw cobra meat. You can go ahead and eat it, it gives you nausea, and you can cook it as well. So in store for that one. But now we got ourselves the mummy. It can actually go ahead and give you the hunger effect. So it's basically just like a husk. And in my opinion, I think the husk should have been a mummy in the first place. I mean, I think we can all agree on that one. Now if you do go ahead and kill yourself the mummy, then he is going to go ahead and drop paper and sometimes rotten flesh. But right here, it's going to be all the different scarab scales. And we're going to go ahead and move over to the hieroglyphics. Now I do want to thank LMMC for allowing me to use this add-on, because he did say that I can use this add-on, so I do want to thank him very much for that. You basically just have to go and put smooth sandstone into a stone cutter, and then you can go ahead and get yourself all of them that way. So now, remember earlier where I mentioned that the golden scarab scales and the Pharaoh's art would be useful? Well, this is the item that they're useful for, and this is the recipe. Now right here is called the Pharaoh. If you don't know, Pharaoh is another word for conduit, but it's a little bit different than the conduit. Now, if I go in and grab myself a ghast here, a feather, a golden pickaxe, and a blaze powder, you can get yourself a different effect depending on what item you put inside the Pharaoh. Now, before you can go and start putting the items inside of there is one more item that you're going to need in order to use this, and it is going to be a nether star. Now, the moment I go ahead and interact with this, it's going to go ahead and activate. Now, also, if you're wondering if you're going to interact with it again, you can actually deactivate it and get yourself your nether star back. Now, you can also go ahead and kill it alternatively to get the nether star back. Now, if I go and put in a ghast here, this is going to give you regeneration, and you get yourself the item back. Now, sometimes it might fly behind it, so you have to go and look around for it. But then we have also the feather, which this one's going to go and give you speed. We got the next one, which is going to be the golden pickaxe, and that's going to give you haste, which is going to be really good for mining. And then we have also the next one, which is blaze powder, and that will give you fire resistance. It is going to go ahead and work across all entities inside the world. So if you have yourself like snakes or scarabs or even creepers or maybe another player, then they will all get affected by the Pharaoh, which is really good. Now whenever you're going to activate a raid inside the desert, it's going to go ahead and change the skin of the pillager and the ravager. So watch this. If I'm going to place on the pillager, the pillagers are going to look a little bit desertified, and then also the ravager is going to be desertified as well. Now if I'm going to change the weather to thunder, as you can see, we get ourselves a sandstorm. And also Dacon allowed me to use the sandstorm add-on. Now this is actually a feature I wanted to go and introduce inside here, just to bring a little bit of extra life inside the desert. Now sadly, if I do go and clear the weather, there's really nothing I could have done about this, but the sandstorm does not go away until you go and leave the biome, that is. So if you go ahead and go to a plains biome, then this is going to go ahead and go away. So you don't really have to worry about it staying in your world for too long. I'm actually going to go ahead and enter back to the overworld. And that's going to be another way to get rid of the sandstorm as well. Let's go to the nether or the end. Go ahead and come back to the overworld. And then the effect is all gone. Now if you don't want to find anything within the add-on, you just have to go ahead and type out /give at b and then DesertPLUS. And then you can go and find yourself pretty much every item inside of here. But there's actually an alternative. If I go ahead and type the slash function, we have our glyphics, items, scale blocks, and scales. So if I go ahead and go down to our glyphics, press enter, we get all the hieroglyphics. And then we have items, which go ahead and give you the food items, and even the Pharaoh's art in the golden scribe scale. Scale blocks will go ahead and give you all the scale blocks. Our final one I'm going to go and show you is going to be scales. So you probably guessed it already, but this will go ahead and give you all the scales inside the add-on. And if you want to find yourself the palm wood blocks, you just have to go ahead and type in /give at p and then palm. So if I go ahead and click on create new world. Now sometimes when you are loading up a world, the game is going to go ahead and crash every once in a while. There's really nothing I can do about that. But this is now what the deserts are going to look like. And I say that this is a big, huge improvement of the deserts. And this pretty much just shows you on what a Minecraft desert update could potentially look like inside the game in the future. Even though we are seeing ourselves a mini desert update, it's not going to be on the scale of this. It's, of course, we are getting palm trees, and we are going to be seeing meerkats as well. But we're not going to be seeing like major features like camels or oases, which is actually quite unfortunate. So hopefully in the future, we might actually see ourselves a big, massive update for the Minecraft deserts instead of just a mini one. But anyway, I do want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments on what you think of this add-on. And if you do want to go in and get this, you will find the link down below in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, then let me know by leaving a like on it and subscribe so you never miss an upload. For now, I hope you have a logical day, and I will catch you next time.